A week of tremors, Scurry County in crisis. The ground shook and the people of Scurry County were left in a state of shock and confusion. West Texas, a land known for its vast oil fields and wide open spaces, found itself facing an unusual crisis. This region, typically characterized by its serene landscapes and the hum of oil rigs, was now the epicenter of a seismic storm. Over a single week, Scurry County, typically a quiet corner of the state, was shaken by a relentless series of earthquakes, 103 in total. Each tremor added to the growing sense of unease, as the ground seemed to be in constant motion. This unprecedented seismic activity rattled residents, damaged buildings, and forced local officials to declare a state of emergency. Emergency services were stretched thin, responding to calls of structural damage and helping those in need. The earth, it seemed, was sending a powerful message. The once solid ground was now fractured and unstable, a stark contrast to the dependable foundation it had always been. The epicenter of this seismic swarm lay near the town of Snyder, the heart of Scurry County. Snyder, a town that had always been a symbol of resilience and community spirit, was now at the center of a geological upheaval. Residents, accustomed to the predictable rhythms of rural life, were suddenly thrust into a reality of unpredictable tremors. Families huddled together, unsure when the next quake would strike, their lives disrupted by the constant shaking. The ground beneath their feet, once a symbol of stability, had become a source of anxiety and fear. The familiar landscape was now marred by cracks and fissures, a visual reminder of the turmoil beneath the surface. This surge of earthquakes was not merely a scientific curiosity, it was a stark reminder of the potential consequences of human activities on the delicate balance of the earth. Scientists and researchers flocked to the area, eager to study the phenomenon and understand its implications. The cause, many experts believed, lay hidden deep underground, intertwined with the very industry that had brought prosperity to the region: oil and gas extraction. The process of hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, was under scrutiny, as it was suspected to have triggered the seismic activity. Community meetings were held, where residents voiced their concerns and fears. Local news coverage was relentless, capturing the anxiety and uncertainty that had gripped Scurry County. The once quiet community was now a focal point of national attention. Environmental activists seized the moment to highlight the risks associated with fracking, calling for stricter regulations and a re-evaluation of the region's dependence on oil and gas. The debate over the balance between economic prosperity and environmental safety intensified. Amidst the chaos, the community began to rebuild. Neighbors helped each other, and a sense of solidarity emerged. While the future remained uncertain, the people of Scurry County were determined to face it together with hope and resilience. Walls crack, nerves fray, the impact on West Texas. The relentless tremors left their mark on Scurry County. Buildings, both old and new, bore the brunt of the seismic activity. Cracks snaked their way through walls, foundations shifted, and chimneys crumbled. The physical damage was a visible testament to the power of the Earth's movement. Beyond the structural damage, the earthquakes took a toll on the residents of Scurry County. The constant fear of the next tremor created a pervasive sense of unease. Sleep became elusive, replaced by anxious anticipation. The once familiar comfort of home was replaced by a feeling of vulnerability. The earthquakes disrupted daily life in Snyder and the surrounding areas. Schools were temporarily closed as a safety precaution, businesses faced disruptions, and residents grappled with the uncertainty of the situation. The tremors served as a stark reminder that even in the most seemingly stable of environments, the ground beneath our feet can shift without warning. The Earth moves in an unlikely place: Texas and seismic activity. Texas, with its vast plains and iconic landscapes, is not typically considered earthquake country. Unlike California, situated along the volatile San Andreas Fault, the Lone Star State sits comfortably in the middle of the North American tectonic plate, far from the edges where major earthquakes typically occur. Historically, Texas has experienced relatively few earthquakes, and those that have occurred have generally been small in magnitude and caused minimal damage. The recent surge in seismic activity in Scurry County, therefore, stands out as a significant anomaly, raising questions about the underlying causes of this unusual phenomenon. The answer, many geologists and seismologists believe, lies in the very industry that has come to define the Texas landscape: oil and gas extraction. While this industry has brought economic prosperity to the state, it has also introduced a new variable into the equation, one that appears to be influencing the very ground beneath our feet. Section 4. Black Gold and Shaking Ground, the link to oil and gas. The oil and gas industry has been a cornerstone of the Texan economy for over a century. From the early days of the Spindletop Gusher in 1901 to the sprawling oil fields of today, Texas has been synonymous with oil. The discovery of oil transformed the state, bringing wealth, jobs, and a new way of life to its residents. Vast reserves of oil and natural gas lie beneath the surface, fueling not only the state's energy needs but also its economic engine. These resources have powered industries, homes, and vehicles, making Texas a key player in the global energy market. The state's economy has thrived on the back of these natural resources, creating a robust infrastructure and a skilled workforce. However, the extraction of these resources comes with certain consequences, some of which are only now becoming fully understood. The environmental impact of drilling and extraction has been a growing concern, with issues such as land degradation, water contamination, and air pollution coming to the forefront. But one of the most pressing concerns is the link between oil and gas extraction and seismic activity. The process of extracting oil and gas from the earth involves more than just drilling into the ground and pumping out the desired resources. It requires a complex infrastructure of rigs, pipelines, and storage facilities. The drilling process itself is highly technical, involving the use of advanced machinery and techniques to reach the oil and gas deposits deep underground. It also involves the extraction of vast quantities of salt water, a naturally occurring byproduct found alongside oil and gas deposits. This salt water, often referred to as produced water, can be several times saltier than seawater, and may contain various dissolved minerals and hydrocarbons. This salt water, often highly saline and containing various dissolved minerals, cannot simply be discarded. Proper management and disposal of this byproduct are crucial to prevent environmental contamination. The industry has developed various methods to handle this wastewater, including treatment and reuse in other industrial processes. The disposal of this wastewater presents a significant challenge for the oil and gas industry. Finding safe and effective ways to manage the large volumes of produced water is essential to minimize the environmental impact. The industry is invested in research and technology to improve wastewater management practices. One common practice, known as saltwater disposal, involves injecting this wastewater deep underground into formations far below the freshwater aquifers that supply drinking water. This method is designed to isolate the wastewater from the environment, reducing the risk of contamination. While this method has been considered a safe and effective way to manage this byproduct, it has also been linked to an increase in seismic activity in certain regions. Studies have shown that the injection of large volumes of wastewater can alter the pressure in underground formations, potentially triggering earthquakes. This has led to increased monitoring and regulation of injection wells to mitigate the risk of induced seismicity. Section 5. A sea below our feet, saltwater disposal, and induced earthquakes. The relationship between human activities and natural phenomena is intricate and often surprising. One such relationship is the connection between saltwater disposal and induced earthquakes. The injection of massive volumes of wastewater into underground formations can have unintended consequences, altering the delicate balance of pressure and stress within the Earth's crust. This process, known as saltwater disposal, is a common practice in the oil and gas industry, where large quantities of wastewater are a byproduct of extraction processes. This alteration, scientists have discovered, can trigger earthquakes, even in regions not typically prone to seismic activity. The sudden shift in pressure can cause faults to slip, leading to seismic events that can range from minor tremors to more significant quakes. The sheer volume of wastewater injected as part of oil and gas operations is staggering. These operations generate millions of barrels of wastewater daily, which must be managed and disposed of safely. The preferred method is to inject this wastewater deep into the earth, into porous rock formations that can absorb the fluid. In Texas alone, billions of barrels of salt water are disposed of underground each year. This practice is essential for the continued operation of oil and gas extraction, but it comes with its own set of challenges and risks. This massive influx of fluid into the subsurface can lubricate existing faults, reduce friction along fault lines, and increase pore pressure within rock formations, all of which can contribute to triggering earthquakes. The fluid acts as a lubricant, making it easier for faults to slip and release built-up stress. The link between saltwater disposal and induced seismicity is a complex one, influenced by a variety of factors, including the geological conditions, the rate and volume of injection, and the proximity of injection wells to existing faults. Each of these factors can play a role in determining whether an injection well will induce seismic activity. While not all saltwater disposal wells trigger earthquakes, the practice has been identified as a significant contributing factor to the increase in seismic activity in certain regions, including parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and other oil and gas producing states. The rise in seismic events has prompted further research and regulatory measures to mitigate the risks associated with saltwater disposal.